Hong Kong's economy grows by 2.5% in real terms last year, easing from 3.2% expansion in 2023. Retail sales in December drops almost 10%, falling 10 months in a row. And U.S. President Donald Trump says Americans may feel some pain caused by trade wars, but it is a price worth paying. Good evening and welcome to Cable News. I'm Cheryl Yuen, back as your anchor. Hong Kong's economic growth slowed down last year due to sluggish private consumption, but the economy saw some improved momentum in the fourth quarter. Evelyn Bai reports.
Hong Kong's economy grew by 2.5% last year, down from the 3.2% growth in 2023. However, the latest data released by the Census and Statistics Department showed that the gross domestic product grew 2.4% year-on-year in the fourth quarter of 2024. Compared to the previous quarter, GDP was up 0.8%, reversing the 0.1% dip seen in the third quarter. Looking at the major GDP component, private consumption expenditure dropped by 0.6% last year. Total exports of goods surged 4.7%, among which exports of services rose 4.8%. Looking ahead, a government spokesman said the city's economy is expected to register further growth this year, despite heightened uncertainties in the external environment. Trade protectionist policies implemented by the U.S. may disrupt global trade flows and adversely affect Hong Kong's goods exports. Nevertheless, the central government's stimulus measures will help bolster market confidence and benefit a wide spectrum of economic segments in the city. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Meanwhile, the city's retail sales value has declined for the 10th consecutive month. In December, retail sales value dropped 9.7% year-on-year, widening from the previous month's decline. For the entire year of 2024, retail sales plunged 7.3%. By category, jewelry and watches fell over 13%, clothing dropped 11%, department store goods decreased nearly 9%, and supermarket goods declined about 3%. The government believes the further decline in retail sales partly reflects residents traveling abroad during the festive period. It is expected that retail performance will continue to be affected in the short term by changes in tourist numbers and market consumption patterns. The city has welcomed more than 1 million visitors between Lunar New Year's Eve and the 5th day of the new year, falling short of the government's previous projection of more than 1.4 million mainland arrivals. However, non-mainland visitor arrivals logged a significant surge, a result which the Hong Kong Tourism Board described as encouraging. Jeremy Zhu reports.
Between Lunar New Year's Eve and yesterday, 1.07 million visitors had arrived in Hong Kong, marking a 3% yearly increase. Notably, non-mainland visitor numbers rose by 17%. Taking to the airwaves, Executive Director of the Hong Kong Tourism Board, Deng Cheng, said, given the intense competition from domestic travel in mainland and other popular destinations like Japan, the numbers could not be directly compared with last year's prints. But the rebound in non-mainland visitor arrivals was encouraging, especially during a period of tight hotel supply. Cheng attributed part of the recovery to improved flight capacity and lower airfares, with overnight visitors reaching 50% of total arrivals from mid to late 2024, surpassing the pre-pandemic peak of 48%. The average stay also increased to 3.2 days, reflecting positive visitor experiences. However, Cheng noted changing spending habits among mainland tourists, with less shopping done in the SAR due to the convenience of e-commerce and lower prices at home. He cautioned against introducing a sales tax, emphasizing the city's long-standing advantage of not having one. Additionally, The executive director added that the SAR has introduced many new elements to attract visitors, and the tourism board will collaborate with various stakeholders to promote unique tourism activities. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Former lawmaker Chim Pui-chung has been sentenced to 2 years and 10 months in prison for his involvement in a fraud scheme related to a listed company in 2013. Chim's son, Ricky Chim, was jailed for 3 years and 1 month. The father-son duo were found guilty of colluding with mainland businessman Ma Zhonghong to deceive Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing Limited and Asia Resources, of which the ex-lawmaker was the largest shareholder, through a backdoor listing deal between 2013 and 2015. Ma allegedly paid the duo $210 million for a majority stake in Asia Resources under a secret shell company agreement. Judge Ernest Lin stated that their actions harmed investors and damaged the SAR's reputation as an international financial center. Despite facing a starting point of 4 years, the father-son pairs' sentences were reduced to 34 months and 37 months respectively, taking into consideration their previous societal contributions. U.S. President Donald Trump said he will speak to the leaders of Canada and Mexico late-night Hong Kong time, following their decision to impose retaliatory tariffs on American goods. He told the Americans that they may feel some pain because of the trade wars, but it is a price worth paying. Jeremy Zhu reports.
I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada, and something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want.
In regards to Canada and Mexico's decision to impose retaliatory levies on U.S. goods to counter his sweeping tariffs to combat illegal immigrants and drugs, U.S. President Donald Trump noted the two countries owe the U.S. a lot of money, and he was sure they're going to pay. He wrote on social media that Americans might feel some pain, but they will make America great again, and it will all be worth the price that must be paid. This came after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced the first phase of tariffs on U.S. goods, imposing 25% tariffs on 155 billion Canadian dollars worth of American goods, including food, cosmetics, electric vehicles, and household items. The first phase, affecting 30 billion Canadian dollars worth of a total of 1,256 U.S. goods, will take effect on Tuesday, with details of the second phase to be announced in the coming days. Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said Mexico does not want confrontation, and if the U.S. wants to combat criminal groups, they must work under principles of shared responsibility, mutual trust, collaboration, and respect for sovereignty. She has previously instructed her economy minister to respond with tariff and non-tariff measures. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Taiwanese host and actress Barbie Hsu, widely known as Big S, passed away at the age of 48 due to pneumonia. Taiwanese media cited her younger sister Dee Hsu's words, saying that her dearest and kindest sister sadly passed away after getting pneumonia, triggered by influenza on a family trip to Japan during the new year. 48-year-old Hsu rose to fame in the 1990s, hosting popular variety shows with her younger sister, and later became a household name across Asia for her role as Dongshan Chai in the popular 2001 television series Meteor Garden. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down 7 points. Top 10 active stocks: Tencent up $3, Xiaomi down 35 cents. SMIC up $3.90, and JD.com down $5. Hong Kong stocks kicked off the year of the snake on a bit of a sour note, dragged down by U.S. President Donald Trump's additional tariffs on Chinese goods. After a 3-day break, the benchmark Hang Seng Index plunged over 400 points earlier in the day, slipping below the 20,000-point mark before narrowing down the loss to close 7 points lower. In a more positive light, the Hang Seng Tech Index ended up 13 points at 4,737 points. Technology stocks had mixed performance. SMIC surged over 10%, while Alibaba rose by 6%, hitting a 2-month high. Meanwhile, Meituan fell by 4%, marking a 6-day downward trend. Factory activity in the mainland expanded at a slower pace in January, with export orders falling for 2 consecutive months ahead of U.S. tariffs. Evelyn Bai tells us more.
The Caixin Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index came in at 50.1, marking the second month of slowing expansion. The reading fell 0.4 percentage points from December last year, missing the market's forecast of 50.5. While the figure remained in growth territory, it was barely above the 50-point mark, separating expansion from contraction. Looking at sub-indexes, the production index and new order index saw modest gains, mainly driven by domestic demand. However, export orders dropped for a second straight month, reflecting sluggish global demand, as U.S. President Donald Trump ordered 10% tariffs for Chinese imports. The employment index hit its lowest level since March 2020. The index compiler noted that this could be related to employees returning home early for the Lunar New Year and companies implementing layoffs to cut costs. Caixin also predicted that stimulus measures like large-scale equipment renewals and consumer goods trade-ins are likely to slow down this year. Amid increasing uncertainty in overseas policies, the export environment may deteriorate, representing a significant challenge for the Chinese economy, Caixin said, calling for full preparation in macroeconomic policies. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Hong Kong is home to some 60 schools dedicated to students with special needs. Echoing the government's efforts in promoting inclusive education in recent years, Po Leung Kok has brought together special and mainstream kids in an art class, fostering love and inclusion through creative expression. Jeremy Zhu has the story.
Handcrafted stamps, delicate greeting cards, and handwritten blessings. What may seem like an ordinary art class at Po Leung Kok Yaoling Sun College is in fact a special experience in inclusive education. This prominent charitable organization brought together its intellectually impaired students with special needs and mainstream students to collaboratively create art projects as a part of its Love to Embrace inclusion program. For most of the students, this was their first experience. The two groups started with unfamiliarity, subsequently broke the ice, helped each other, and eventually became comfortable.
I think I can learn a lot because I take care of him and I can learn about empathy and some communication skills.
I think it's quite fun, and I think it was a rewarding and challenging experience for me. Working together to complete teamwork make us closer.
Before the launch of the inclusion program in August last year, Po Leung Kok has long been engaging in similar activities such as rugby, dancing, and camping events.
In the past, we can call it a pilot scheme, and we gain lots of experience, and to be honest, we came across with lots of difficulties.
Lam said the hardest part in the beginning was negotiating with school principals and convincing them that this is something worth doing, given the tight schedules and varying policies of many schools, making arrangements difficult. She also highlighted that Po Leung Kok plans to integrate this type of lesson into the regular curriculum of its institutions.
Now, two schools, they are not only just a kind of, an activity or just a game, but they do have their lessons regularly. Then the students will find it more, they will take it more seriously. And then throughout the regular curriculum, the students have more time to enjoy with their partners.
Jeremy Chu, Cable News.
On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy and becoming cold overnight. The minimum temperature tomorrow morning will be about 12 degrees in the urban areas and a couple of degrees lower in the new territories. Dry with sunny periods during the day. And that's our news tonight. I'm Cheryl Yuen. Thanks for watching and good night.